The pregame is brought to you by AT&T. They faced off in the 2011 Women's World Cup final in Germany and again in the 2015 final in Canada. Now today, the road to France begins with the last two world champions facing off as the USA battles Japan in the Tournament of Nations live on FS1. The round-robin tournament kicked off earlier today as Australia jumped out to an early lead atop the standings with their 3-1 win over Brazil, meaning both sides in our match today will be eager for all 3 points to keep pace with the Aussies. Welcome into the studio. I'm Alex Curry and excited to be here alongside former U.S. Women's National Team player Leslie Osborne. Now, Leslie, with the Women's World Cup less than a year away, the U.S. players will be looking to make an impression on their head coach in this tournament. Who are your players to watch?
Well, we have to talk about Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe. First, individually, but also collectively. Individually, they're confident, they're in their peak form. I think the best soccer they've ever been playing. But also collectively, Jill Ellis has really stuck with them and the consistency of them up top. And the chemistry they've formed. They're scoring in the run of play, on set pieces together. They're confident and they're reading each other so well, and they're having fun out there. But also, Tierna Davidson, a 19-year-old, the transition she's made into this team and thinking she's only played 2018 with this team. She's confident and poised. She gives this team a different look at center back. And she's so confident on the ball, and she's been able to develop great partnerships with both Abby Dahlkamper and Becky Sauerborn, who now is a little injured. Tierna Davidson's going to have a big role on this team going into France.
It's going to be fun to watch. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at the lineups for both sides. And Leslie, let's start with the U.S.
Yeah, Jill Ellis is sticking to her 4-3-3, making 4 changes from their last game against China. Crystal Dunn gets that chance again at left outside back, getting up and down that flank and looking to combine with Megan Rapinoe. And Morgan Bryan, I'm watching her. She's still coming back from her 90-minute fitness, looking at her to have a strong game and make a good impression on Coach Jill Ellis. And Kristen Press gets a start up top with an injured Mallory Pugh. Kristen Press is going to look on and try to make a good impression here today.
Now over to Japan's lineup. Who are you watching?
Well, Takakura, they have such a great mixture of young and experienced players. They've always been extremely organized and technical side. Number 3 in the back line, Samashima. I played with her in the NWSL. She's their captain leader. She's really going to have to hold that line down with her experience. And number 11, Tanaka, she's got great awareness in the box. She runs down everything, and she's such a good finisher in the box. The U.S. back line has to watch out for her.
Now, all eyes are going to be on the Americans today as we near kickoff at Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City for this must-see rematch of the 2015 World Cup final. So don't go anywhere.
So you'll be here to help if I need you?
I got you.
What about here?
Yep.
Here?
Yes, Kyle.
And here's Sir Robert from State Farm.
If you invite me.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
The FIFA Women's World Cup in France is just 316 days away, of course. We'll have all the action for you with every match live on Fox and FS1. The Stars and Stripes face a big test today as they continue to prepare for the World Cup qualifying in October. Kickoff between the U.S. and Japan is coming up right after the break. The pregame is sponsored by AT&T.
Generosity. A spirit that's real. Real. A symbol of who you are in everything you do. Pulling every single person with you. Generosity. That's the long game. Worthy of the crown. Crown Royal.
Japan against the United States. It's the biggest moment of their lives. And Marisawa scores for Japan. They have come back yet again. We are in a penalty shootout. The dream is slipping away for the USA. and a World Cup for Japan. They have rewritten the history books.
Japan versus the United States. First repeat title game in Women's World Cup history. Big shot, goal!
Fantastic start by the USA.
Hat-trick for Lloyd! The drought is over. The U.S. wins the 2015 Women's World Cup.
Welcome back. Alex Curry here with Leslie Osborne, and we are getting set for kickoff between the U.S. and Japan in both teams' opening match of the Tournament of Nations. Let's listen in from Children's Mercy Park.
Of the United States of America and Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the playing of the national anthem of Japan, followed by the playing of the national anthem of the United States of America.
All right, Leslie, final thoughts here. What are you expecting to see today?
I want to see a complete 90 minutes performance and a result. Continue to create as many goal-scoring opportunities and finish their chances and have a quick tempo. Japan doesn't want to play as fast. They're not as physical, not as athletic, so the U.S. has to keep up a quick tempo from the start.
Well, it's a rematch of the last two Women's World Cup finals, the USA versus Japan. So let's send it out to your match commentators, JB Telecamera and Allie Wagner.
Thank you, Alex. The USA unbeaten in their last 16 games. The last time they lost, the first game of this tournament a year ago, that was to Australia. A very familiar starting 11 today.
And they're going with the similar system that they discovered in that Tournament of Nations against Brazil in the last 15 minutes. They're 4-3-3, but there are some new personnel that have come into the fray, and in particular, Tiana Davidson in that back line. Just in her 9th cap, but has looked incredibly settled. after assuming that role. In the center of the park, Lindsey Horan has had an incredibly bright season for the NWSL. Right now, co-leading with 9 goals with Sam Kerr in league play. Up top, Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe. Alex Morgan has had 13 goals in her last 15 matches, but Megan Rapinoe, the one that was just listed on the FIFA Player of the Year, have to keep your eyes on her.
For Japan, they're unbeaten in their last 7. This is a younger team than we're used to seeing.
And in particular, the down the spine of the squad was Samashima. Yes, she's one of the veterans, but beside her is Miyake. She's just playing in her 11th cap, and in front of them with Sakaguchi and Miura. Both those players are just earning their 2nd cap. Those aren't the preferred center mids, neither are the preferred center backs. So it's going to be something the U.S. is going to look to take advantage of. On that left side, that was where the strength of this team is with that partnership of Ariyoshi and Hasegawa, excuse me.
It's a Canadian officiating crew. Carol Ann Chenard is our main referee. Japan will be in the blue uniforms today. Their most experienced player is their captain, number 3, Aya Samashima. They're in their final huddle, getting ready to take on the #1 ranked team in the world, the USA, who are in predominant white with red and blue trim. 80 degrees temperature-wise at kickoff. The forecast calls for some partly cloudy conditions, but it'll be very humid for these players in Kansas City. Julie Ertz coming off a terrific year in 2017. Dealt with some knee issues this year, but seems ready now to go, pretty much at 100%.
The center midfield position is a place where the U.S. has a lot of depth, in particular with her insertion in there. Remember, she was a center back before, and now she's come in as that strong number 6 and looks to own that spot after the recovery from her injury.
Among the leaders of this team, wearing the captain's armband though today for the USA is number 13, Alex Morgan. Just about set for the kickoff in Kansas City, Kansas. USA meeting Japan yet again. Whistle, we're officially underway. An immediate long ball from Japan. It's going to go out of play. Sonnet was on that side. Sonnet starting at right back today. Plays for Portland in the NWSL. 23-player roster, Allie. 22 of them play in the NWSL. All 9 teams are represented. The only exception, the collegiate player, Tierna Davidson, who Leslie Osborne was raving about in pregame for good reason.
Yeah, exactly, as she should. I mean, since she's earned that starting role, and she has earned that starting role, it looks like under Jill Ellis, she has looked incredibly confident and comfortable. The only thing she has to be wary of is not dwelling on the ball, because she's given the opposition a few opportunities when she's slow in her decision-making.
For Japan, they got it to play immediately to Hasegawa. Shipped ahead. Then nodded forward. Sonnet's going to let that one go for Dahlkemper. 7 in the white for the USA. That clearance is denied. Back and forth it goes. Kojima laid it off and now to the right side. Passed it away by Ertz. All the way upfield. A sprint there. Morgan brings it down against Samashima, who wins that foot race and knocks it out.
And something the U.S. is going to be looking for today is those transition moments. Alex Morgan talked to me about it coming in, and she loves playing against these non-European sides that aren't maybe as organized defensively, and they can hit them on the break. Well, that was one look at the U.S. trying to expose them.
Blasted away by Sakaguchi. Again in Sonnet. Went short. Lindsey Horan having a terrific year with Portland in the NWSL. Ball out again. Another USA throw in near the corner flag. Horan with 9 goals this year in league play. Long throw in. Horan's flick. Cleared away. It was Nakajima who sent it away, but now Japan must defend against Crystal Dunn. Pushing it ahead. Rapinoe on the left. End line cross. Gets away. No one in white to knock it home. Sana put that one up, and well wide, goalkeeper Yamashita.
And this is a look at just the recycled play as the U.S. gets to the weak side. Japan condenses centrally so hard that there's a lot of space externally, and Megan Rapinoe takes advantage of trying to play that cutback ball but can't connect, and then the recycled ball is just squandered, really. And this is a look at how the U.S. wants to build out of the back. They rotate Crystal Dunn high, they pinch Rapinoe inside, and it's these three that look like three center backs in their build out.
Still trying to find the right position for Crystal Dunn. For now, it's left back. She can play a number of positions for this team.
And that's been useful for them considering the injuries they've taken to their outside backs.
We're missing Kelly O'Hara tonight, out with an injury, hamstring. Mallory Pugh, an attacking player, out with a knee issue. Those are two starters.
Yeah, and Casey Short finally getting healthy as well. She was someone that was looking to start continuously for this U.S. side before she took the knock.
Rapinoe hanging tough in there and then knocked away by Ariyoshi. Held up on this right side, Shimizu, 22 in the blue of Japan. It's deflected out. Last touch by the U.S. Passing on that throw in is Iwabuchi. She will let Shimizu take it. Japan squad that came in here. They only brought 22 players, not 23. 4 of those players without a single cap, 2 of them with 1 each. So we're missing a lot of the big names that we're used to seeing in the past. Players like Homare Sawa have retired, and other players have been pretty much retired by the new coach, Takakura.
They're just in a generational shift, the way the U.S. has been in one as well. A lot of young players coming to the fold, and Jill Ellis said she didn't know if really Takakura's focus was for the World Cup and preparing these players or for the ensuing Olympics that come the year following. But nonetheless, they are in that generational shift.
Shimizu playing in her 11th international match will take this. She, like many on this team, part of the Asian Cup squad. 2018 that qualified them for the Women's World Cup. So they know they're going to France. The U.S. doesn't have to face qualifying until October of this year. Rapinoe there defending along with Dunn. Juggling by the corner flag. Near sideline. A bit too fancy there, but it's still going to be USA's ball. 6th minute, 0s on the board. First game already in the books. Australia getting off to another great start. Last year they won all 3 games in this tournament and were the champions. They beat Brazil 3-1. Sam Kerr having a terrific year for club and country scores in that one.
What a tear she's been on. You'd have to think her. I think Rapinoe has got to be another option for that FIFA Player of the Year, but Sam Kerr has to have the lead for that.
Davidson has Dunn to the left, goes the other way instead. Del Kemper. Sana was calling for it. Del Kemper goes long, right sideline. Kept alive by the U.S. Press on the ball. Horan. The press recently picked up her 100th cap in the game against China. That's knocked away. Morgan Bryan will push it for Crystal Dunn. Dunn advancing, nice cutting ball in. The turn, Bryan cuts, nobody there in white, cleared away by Ariyoshi. Rapinoe kept it alive on the wing. Dunn puts one up for grabs, and Horan heads it wide. Kick for Yamashita. Today's telecast is sponsored by AT&T. Yamashita with just 19 caps to her name. The number 2 goalkeeper, Ikeda, has 12, and Morao is uncapped. So not a lot of experience in the goalkeeping position for this Japan's side.
Oh, but Yamashita earned the majority of those caps in the Asian Cup, so she does have some big game experience.
Sana covering there versus Hasegawa. It'll be a Japan throw-in. They get it in quickly. It's going to be out of play again. Scoreless here in the 8th minute. USA and Japan, first game for each this 2018 Tournament of Nations. The Ertz pass blocked. Yoshi draws the foul. Free kick for Japan. Fouling Morgan Bryant. Bryant trying to work her way back to regular minutes. Had some injury issues.
This is just the play where you get the free kick, but it was the U.S. trying to play out of pressure, and Japan squeezed him in.
Miura's header. Carried all the way to Japan territory. Sakaguchi, just her second cap. Inside the circle, Ariyoshi. Shimizu. Dunn should have that one covered. It's a potent left side for the U.S. You've got Rapinoe and Dunn on that same side attacking. Ariyoshi. Pushed across by Miura. Sakaguchi leaves it. Ariyoshi. Shimizu. Nakajima. Better possession for Japan, and now they lose it in the end. Rapinoe with a back heel. Moran. Controlling for Dunn. Ertz. Now some pressure from Japan.
Good patience by the U.S. to solve it. You know, was waiting to see how this played out, but the U.S. anticipated Japan might play direct balls in their attack, but they've certainly been building out of the back, and they've been connecting and overloading zones to maintain possession. I think the U.S. anticipated perhaps a different look from Japan, because that was how they went about their matches against Australia in the Asian Cup. Right now, the U.S. a bit on their heels.
Shimizu will push it back. Miyake. Samashima. Japan will now attack with numbers on that left flank. Step behind the defense, but the offside flag goes up.
And that's where the space is sometimes against this United States team. You could see how tight that front three were, as well as the center mids in behind. So for Japan to go around that outside and then try to slip someone in with that inside out run, it's a good look by Japan.
Gucci was flagged.
And there's the timing where she's just a step ahead. Really tight call.
It was. She's had experience in Germany with Bayern Munich and Hoffenheim.
One of their link-up players, player they can find as an outlet because she's just so good and technical with the ball at her feet. Both her and Tanaka, not the best to stretch the opponent, better with the ball at their feet, and then they try to get those runs in underneath. That second wave coming in support.
Dalkemper plays for North Carolina Courage. They're leading in the NWSL by 16 points. They're running away with that lead.
Close to clinching the shield, in fact.
Terrific year for them. Dalkemper. Sonnet. 12th minute. Scoreless. USA and Japan. This Tournament of Nations opener for these two sides. She played it back. Miyake. Miura. Right side. Nakajima somewhat free. Dunn has to close her down. Nice move by Nakajima. Let the shot go, but Dunn with a good recovery on the block, and it's cleared by the U.S. Rapinoe. Long look. Goalkeeper way out. Had to win that ball. And Yamashita did. Japan will turn it into possession upfield. Hasegawa left it off. Miura. Nakajima.
You can see how tight the shape is for Japan. They're at their best when they get numbers around the ball. The U.S. opposingly, they're going to be at their best when they can stretch Japan out.
Shimizu. Shima's pass ahead. Japan collects inside the circle. It is Ariyoshi. Shimizu. Nakajima. Every time Rapinoe trying to close her down. Over the top. Flag goes up again. There's Tanaka. They've been flagged twice now for offside, but they must believe they can get behind that U.S. backline.
And oftentimes it's that second run. It's not always going to be Iwabuchi or Tanaka up top. It's those outside mids or the center mids popping through. It's good counter movement for them. They pull the backs up. The U.S. is squeezing the game, and they're just going to try to alleviate some of that pressure by playing those balls in behind. Then they can play underneath.
Davidson will let that one go out. She's one of 3 players to start every game this year. And the collegian leads the team in minutes. That would be a surprise, I think, if you had asked at the start of the year. That would be possible, leading them in minutes played.
Absolutely, and that Sauerbrunn would be on the bench. But I think that just speaks to how well she's transitioned to this high pace, this level of play. Often difficult.
Morgan, that's blocked. Laid off by Ariyoshi. Nakajima, nice move to get around Dunn. Nakajima's had a pretty good last several minutes here. Pretty effective on that right side. Ariyoshi will go the other way. Played up by Miura. Sakagawa, long pass. Intended for Iwabuchi. It goes back to Alyssa Nair, who has become the #1 goalkeeper now for this team. Nair's making her 7th start of the season. 30th cap for the U.S. Ashlyn Harris also on this roster. And Adriana French, who is the only uncapped player on this U.S. squad of 23. And the turnover here is Japan, but it's too early for Nakajima.
The connection for the U.S. isn't there right now. Lindsey Horan, she's popping wide to get plays. She hasn't been on the ball at all, so she pulls herself wide just to receive the ball at her feet. And then it breaks down in that ensuing pass.
What can you tell us about the first 15 minutes?
That Japan's had the better of play. They've been possessing the ball, moving the U.S. around. The U.S. looks like they're reactionary in their movement and where they're playing right now, getting pinned in the flanks.
Miura knocked it out. Sana forced back.
They have to start utilizing their strengths with just their speed and strength over these players. Get 1v1 situations with diagonal balls such as that.
As far upfield as Crystal Dunn has gone so far. Rapinoe pulling it back. Wide for Dunn. The cross inside. Going after it was press. And now Miura will take over for Japan. So another opportunity, but no one there to finish.
And that's the difference, right? Japan's controlling the match, but they haven't looked dangerous. The U.S. gets 2 spells, and they almost get in, sneak one in.
Machita clears. Slight touch there. Tanaka. Miura. Right sideline, Shimizu. 22 in blue for Japan. Well-timed run there. Nakajima again, but cut off by Davidson.
Nakajima just playing with space incredibly well, coming wide, and in that instance, coming inside and allowing Sakaguchi to get forward on that right side. Shimizu, excuse me.
Nakajima, quick turn. Knocked away. Ariyoshi's pass. Iwabuchi. That's good movement in tight spaces. Tanaka, the shot. Was that handled? I thought it was handled. The whistle is blown. As the flag was up, let's see. Well, they're just going to let play continue. Lay it off to the outside for Dunn. That was Japan at their best, though, with a quick ball movement, quick passes, short spaces.
That's the Japan we know. That's the Japan that has been incredibly challenging for the U.S. And in fact, Iwabuchi is offside a few steps and just trying to get on that deflection. Right call by the ref.
Just in press, going forward, press. Rapinoe in, played it back. And there's Morgan. Another goal for Alex, and the U.S. leads.
Jill Ellis talked about transition moments and how the U.S. wanted to take advantage of them today. Well, they come storming down. Rapinoe's patient with her spacing and allows that passing channel just to remain enough for the ball to slip in stride. And then she sees Alex Morgan. That's the only spot Rapinoe can put it because of the pressure. It's so tight. Alex Morgan has to make that near post run, beats her player there, and then just slots it right by Yamashita at that near post. And to add insult to injury, can't even get down in time. Such a quick little slip there.
Terrific ball by Rapinoe, who has 6 assists this season, now 7, leading the team. She had one game that we called a goal against Mexico and 4 assists.
And it's just her activity, even if she's not scoring or assisting, her activity on that left side wreaks havoc for opponents. But that was a good example of how intelligent she is as a player. So many players change up their position there. Well, she just held the space, allowed that ball to be slipped in.
Goal coming a bit against the run of play. Japan was pressing for the last several minutes, but couldn't get a good strike.
But it's something the U.S. thought about coming in today, was taking advantage of those transition moments, exploding out when Japan has numbers forward.
Look out here. Tanaka with a step. Tanaka again with a chip. Tanaka. 1-1. Great individual effort. That didn't take long.
And like the U.S., it's an incredibly efficient attack where they just go streaking down the center of the park. And her run is incredibly well-timed and spaced there. She just sneaks inside the outside back. Davidson was caught up. Dahlkemper's trying to come over. Here's the little combination that sets everything free. And then Tasagawa, who comes in from that outside spot. Tanaka then beats Dahlkemper with that cut. And that deflection helps it on its way, just to allow it to rise up and over. Listen there, who's caught off her line and dips in, and we're even.
That's 1 against 4 right there. You could see there was no other help coming from Japan. She takes on all those players.
And you cut it across the defender's movement. One of those little nuances that great strikers have, and Tanaka has it.
Terrific goal by her. Morgan leaves it off for Horan. This cross, grabbed by Yamashita. We hear it so many times, Ali, you're so vulnerable. After you score, women's game, men's game, doesn't seem to matter. The other team comes right back.
Yeah, case in point. And transition again was the moment that things open up for each side. Japan go right down the spine, though, of the U.S. And if you can't step and put pressure and deny that ball in behind, you can't step. Davidson was caught out. It'll be interesting to look back on that and see where her pressure was going.
On the side towards Iwabuchi, cut off by Dunn. Dahlkemper for Sonnet. We went 17 minutes without a goal, and then in the space of a couple of minutes we get 2, 1 apiece. Level at 1. Horan's ball ahead. Rapinoe for Dunn. Rapinoe continued to run in towards Morgan. Too far. Yamashita's got it. Morgan's goal started it off for the USA. It's her 14th goal in her last 16 games in a USA jersey. Miura on the ball for Japan. Samashima to the outside. Shimizu. Nakajima leaves it. Ariyoshi. Hasegawa. Tanaka. Her goal tied it. Again, this is good ball movement from Japan.
And they overload, they flood zones, and you can see they either get numbers above or even with the U.S., and that's where they're so good in those tight spaces.
Japan's head coach is Asako Takakura, replacing Norio Sasaki, who got this team into a couple of World Cup finals. So big shoes to fill. She's filled it. with a lot of younger players. There are some experienced players out there, but no one with 100 caps. Here's Rapinoe. Horan. Another long ball headed up by Morgan. No one running in tandem with her. Cleared by Shimizu. Ertz header is cut off. Miura up. Back to Yamashita. Morgan made a play for. Right sideline. Tough ball. Shimizu deals with it. Nakajima. Very fancy there. No foul given there on Horan. Pino from Ertz. Up for a throw-in. Pino having another good year with Seattle in the NWSL. Goes over to Dunn. Dunn holding. Wanted Rapinoe to make a move. Dunn couldn't get through. Japan wins. Iwabuchi. Right side. Had the ball stayed in play. Tanaka had that whole sideline.
And that was another example of the U.S. just looking like they run out of ideas when they get into that attacking third. And Japan does have numbers back defensively. There wasn't a lot of movement. Crystal Dunn opted to take a player. It was 1v2 really, and the turnover came.
Shimizu to the right. Going right past the Japan bench. Nakajima and Rapinoe wins the ball. Rapinoe trying to thread the needle there. Had Morgan on the run. Or press.
As press filtering inside,
press.
yeah, exactly.
It's normally where Morgan has been making the runs. Press has had so few touches in this opening 24 minutes.
Well, a lot of the play for the U.S. does come down the left side. You said it with Dunn and Rapinoe. That's intentional.
Against Nakajima. Nakajima made her international debut against the USA. It was back in 2011. It was the same year that Japan won the Women's World Cup. Davidson gave it away. Pino trying to win it back. Has some help. Ertz. Ertz getting forward. Ertz fires it. It's blocked. Maybe off the face of a Japanese defender. Play continues. She is still down. Now back up. Horan. The cross. Settled. Chipped. Not it down. There's the one. 2-1. Alex Morgan has 2.
This play all starts with Julie Ertz picking up a second ball. We think of Japan as a team that's so organized to pick up that second ball underneath. It's Ertz that wins it. It's on this next attack. Horan gets it outside to Dunn. She lays that all the way across. It's a brilliant ball, in fact, because there's few players floating into that space. And then the putback ball. Alex Morgan just pulls off that center back. And it's this one by Emily Sonnet. Good awareness to take that touch, to bring it down. I think she wanted to have a go initially first time, but Kristen Press was in front of her. And then she just lays that back across. And Alex Morgan with the awareness to just redirect that in the same vein to that far post. Nodded on. Another brilliant finish by her. Good awareness by a striker in form.
Have you noticed anything different about her? Why she's in this tear? Now it's 15 goals in 16 games. It's incredible.
Oftentimes it's confidence in that finishing touch, but that was a difficult finish. And she made it look easy. And it's when you're getting those reps, when you can stay healthy. Remember, she was under a run of a spell of injuries last year. Now as she's staying healthy, she can continue to work after training.
Sakaguchi for Japan, who trail for the second time tonight.
And I do think that partnership, Leslie talked about it in the pregame, the partnership with Rapinoe and her, and when Pugh comes back in, they're developing really nice chemistry in that front three. Strikers benefit from that.
U.S. with a 2-1 lead. Both goals by Alex Morgan. Iwabuchi leaves it off. Sagawa has that one blocked. Samashima deflected away. The U.S. trying to collect. Win it back to Sonnet. All the way back to Alyssa. Davidson playing as a center back. She can also play on the outside if needed. Moran with a nice move, beating Tanaka. 28th minute, U.S. leading here 2-1. A pretty open game.
This is where I think the U.S. has to get better. I know they're flattening out their midfield, but they're all sitting in front of that midfield line. Get some players behind, get depth.
Moran moving it right side. Press. Late run. Too far away from Morgan Bryant. It's a goal kick for Yamashita. Press now back in the U.S. playing for Utah. After being traded from Chicago in that big 3-team trade. Sam Kerr was involved. Carly Lloyd was involved. Apparently she did not want to play in Houston. Goes over to Sweden, plays, then comes back. They worked out a deal, now plays for Utah.
Already has a goal, in fact.
Japan on the ball. Samashima. US blocked it. Can't control it. Ariyoshi up the middle. Nakajima. Slowed down by Horan. Fouls in the process.
And again, it's that outside mid filtering inside, giving an option to Japan in the build out.
It's too far intended for Tanaka. '30th minute, U.S. with a 2-1 lead over Japan. Tierna Davidson. Sonnet. Press. Almost at the half-hour mark. Davidson. No pressure on her at the moment. Finds the open player, Ertz. For Horan. Pass didn't have enough on it. Hasegawa leads it. Tanaka. Nice foot race there. That time Davidson won it. Asked for the ball back. Instead it goes to Dunn. U.S. did well to break that pressure. Ertz. Morgan. Rapinoe. Morgan continues a run. Press makes a run on the right side. A ball towards Press. Coming out. Yamashita does well. Roll to the right side to Miyake. Soccer Sunday back, LA Galaxy versus Orlando City with a very much informed Zlatan Ibrahimovic. All of a sudden, the Galaxy are starting to win some games. Coming all the way back, Miyake. Ariyoshi. For Japan, pushing it back, Samashima. Back and forth they go, her and Ariyoshi. Samashima calling for Shimizu, nice to let it go to her. Here's Shimizu on the move, outside the box. That's going to be blocked out for a corner. They almost turned nothing into something.
And it's their coordinated movement that gets the U.S. on their back heel in that moment. It was the awareness, the runs coming in behind. She can just let that go, and suddenly you're in acres of space if you're Japan. I think her last touch failed her, though. It allowed Tierna Davidson to close.
Corner for Emi Nakajima. 27-year-old midfielder. She's giving the U.S. some problems in this opening half. Mostly on this right side. Jima plays it short. Hasegawa. Miura. Shimizu. Samashima. Sakaguchi. Floats one up. Ball brought down, and Nakajima almost got to it. Now will against Rapinoe. Rapinoe stays. Help is coming. Good job by Rapinoe. Will knock it out. 33rd minute, the U.S. with a 2-1 lead, both goals by Alex Morgan. Tanaka has scored for Japan to level it at 1, and then Morgan scores about 6 minutes later. Cut back by Ariyoshi. Miyake. Iwabuchi. Soft touch there. Iwabuchi trying to get it forward. It's blocked. Dunn towards Rapinoe. Japan will collect it again with Shimizu. Samashima. The middle, blocked by Ertz. Ryan to Rapinoe. Rapinoe running against the sea of blue, found Morgan, trying to return it to Ertz, and it's cut off.
That was a really good look at the recovery by Japan. They just filtered numbers centrally, and they clogged up that central channel. The U.S. tried to play through it. Numbers were streaking forward. It was always going to be a difficult task with them closing down those channels.
What's impressed you with this Japan side?
Just how well organized they are in getting numbers around each other. They don't play long balls all that often.
She was tackled. The ball goes out. USA will have a throw-in.
And oftentimes that allows the opponent to squeeze the game on you, but Japan is incredibly capable of solving that pressure, so it's hard for the U.S. to over-condense and get those overloads defensively. You see it defensively for Japan as well. They're just getting numbers squeezed into quadrants, and they're coming up with the ball.
Horan for the U.S. in white. Long, brought down. Morgan for the hat trick. It looked good with her left or right foot. Lately, everything she's striking seems to find the back of the net.
And again, this is the U.S. playing a long ball, trying to get their players in 1v1, in this case 1v2 situation. She doesn't allow the defender to get to her in time. She just takes it on the ball as it's rising up, able to strike that down. It tries to come across. It doesn't get it on frame, but that's a difficult skill right there as that ball's rising.
Dunn takes it on the bounce. Davidson clipping it back for Dahlkemper. Sonnet. Dunn. It's cut off. Shimizu. Pressure on the ball from Ertz. Using the option to go back to Yamashita. It's Morgan after her. Say back of the ball. Sonnet. Dahlkemper. Davidson. 36th minute, US 2, Japan 1.
I can see all three center mids in your picture pretty low. That means if the ball gets forward into one of those front runners' feet, they're going to be rather isolated if the U.S. does play direct. And that's where I think some of the disconnect comes in.
Ball is free for Samashima. Miura. Hasegawa. It's off Miura. Nakajima leaves it for Sakaguchi. Now it's Nakajima on that far side, left side of the field. For the top, headed back. Read by Ertz. Hard challenge there. U.S. recovers the ball with Rapinoe. Immediate counter. Press is on the run. Samashima defends. Press waits for some help. Cuts to the inside. Back outside and then lost it in the end after she made that initial move.
And you're seeing from the U.S. again that they want to play the most direct, most penetrative option if it is on, to try to stretch out Japan. In that case, it's Press who gets on the end of that service.
Bryan leaves it. For Press, the flip back for Morgan Bryan. Outside. US looking for a seam. Now it's Rapinoe on this right side, shifting over from the left. Sonnet. Rapinoe. Too far away from the press. Goal kick, Yamashita.
And even though that doesn't come off, I like the fact that there is that dynamic movement with Rapinoe filtering across the pitch. And you saw Lindsey Horan, she had come into a more wide role where Rapinoe typically would be. That oftentimes confuses the opponent, confuses the defenders. Who's in my zone? Who am I responsible for?
22-year-old Yamashita with that clearance. Miota. Nakajima. Another long ball. Tanaka. That goes against her. Lindsey Horan will push it to the right. 39th minute. US the slip 2-1 lead over Japan. Both goals by Alex Morgan. Tanaka is the player that scored for Japan. Mina Tanaka, 12th international goal. Ariyoshi. Nakajima. Iwabuchi. Off a block from Ertz. US collects. Horan. Foul by Miota. Minute. 1-goal lead for the US. Horan very slow to get up. Lindsey Horan on the ball. Coming forward. Right sideline. Press juggles into the box. Has help. Press with a shot. Stopped by Yamashita. There is no rebound for Rapinoe. Yamashita sees something upfield. Instead gives the ball away. Dahlkemper. Horan. Davidson. Sonnet leaves it off for Dahlkemper. Final 5 minutes of this opening half. Dunn bringing it down. Taken away. No foul again. Dunn looks. Run made by Morgan. It's cleared away. Two goals for Alex Morgan. US that 2-1 lead.
And Morgan really trying to continue to pressure that center back partnership of Japan. Not their usual center back starters. She's running that channel incredibly well. The US just struggling to hold possession in the attacking third to find her from those deeper rolls.
Dahlkemper inching forward. Wide for Rapinoe. Trying to touch it back. She's looking for Dunn. Ariyoshi blocked. Ertz using her strength. Crystal Dunn holding there. Forced to go back. Davidson clipping it off the left foot. Headed forward. Ertz on the move. No one picks her up. Save made by Yamashita. Terrific save. And now cleared away by Japan.
I think she had too much time to think about that.
She might have been surprised she was that far open.
Exactly. Just staring down the goalkeeper 1v1. Played it right at her.
Rapinoe's pass. Morgan, but the flag goes up.
But that's a look right there that's been successful for the U.S. with Alex Morgan between the center backs. And this is the one that she nods on into the path of Ertz, making that run out of midfield. It's just so much time and space. Horan bodies off that run by Samashima, who's trying to come across. This is the ball just clipped in by Davidson. She has really good awareness. That's played to her head on purpose so she can redirect it. And then Ertz just lays that right at Yamashita. She has both corners to pick out because I don't think Yamashita had her near covered. But chooses poorly in the end.
Ertz's husband, Zach, a Super Bowl winner. Philadelphia Eagles.
And the power couple in the sports world,
Yeah.
my goodness, they are everywhere.
What a year they had together, huh? Individually and collectively. Here is Ertz on the ball, moving it ahead. Horan trying to stay with it, but it's cut off. Hasegawa in the 43rd minute, moving it upfield. Iwabuchi left it off. Tanaka. Iwabuchi. Late run, left side, kept alive there. Sakaguchi in, but that's cleared. Sakaguchi winning it back. Thought she was going to have a go from distance, but instead may have been caught in two minds. It goes easily to Listener.
And even that last attack, it doesn't come off for Japan in the end, but it's that intelligent awareness of where collectively they're going to be. Their U.S. is filtered centrally, and they have all their defenders. But then you get that little ball played out wide into an outlet, or you know that outside back is going to come.
U.S. working it. Davidson. 2-1 lead. They'd like to take in at halftime. Extend it if they can. Japan's been hanging around. Very tough.
And I think at halftime, the U.S. has to address whether they need those three backs to all be behind that line of confrontation of Japan. I think they're conceding too much there. I think you can push an outside back on. I think you can. You're pulling back too many players to beat that first line.
Ertz with a pass ahead. Horan. Laid off by Morgan. Final minute, first half. Good first half. Dahlkemper. Moved ahead on the right side. The Horan pass for Morgan, who has both USA goals. About a half minute or so left, depending on stoppage time. Headed for Ariyoshi, that's cut off. Morgan Bryan holds there. Ertz lifting one up, offside on press.
Because even that ball from Ertz, she hasn't beaten one line. They haven't taken one line of defense out. If she steps there, she dribbles just past that line of the first attackers for Japan. Now suddenly things can open up. I think Sonic can do it when she gets on the ball. I think Davidson is more than capable of doing it. Dahlkemper, so that they can dribble and beat that first line, I think things will open up. You'll have the domino effect where you pull Japan out of shape.
Final whistle is blown. First half has come to a close. Thanks to Alex Morgan and her 2 goals, the U.S. has a 2-1 lead over Japan in this Tournament of Nations game. Come back with us, Alex Curry and Leslie Osborne, after the break with highlights and stats.